different potholes, the wrinkles, the different spots, the blind sides of your business, and help you guys thrive. And so that's what I've loved about Fireside Chats. And it's been, sorry, I'm looking at David over here. But David's been a huge part of that process, and we've been doing these for 2 years. And so, yeah, they've been going strong. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Jason, and I'm going to change the camera so you guys will be looking at him. Yeah, thank you, Jason.
Awesome, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. All right, so who has questions bubbling in their brain from last time? Anything that's just like, oh man, I wish that I'd had this answered, or this really left me questioning or stuck. Anybody have anything before we dive in? Okay, then let's jump in, and I wanted to start off, so we're covering kind of 3 different buckets or 3 different pillars today. We're talking about social media as one, we're talking about your website as number 2, and then we're talking about the rest of the internet as number 3. And so this idea of how do you have a well-optimized online presence, you really won't be well-optimized unless you're covering all 3 of those bases. But before we dive into that, I wanted to go back just a little bit and talk for just a minute about a little kind of recap where we were at last time, because in order to be effective at all 3 of those pillars, we have to truly understand this concept of finding your niche, or finding what sets you apart as a business. And so I wanted to go back, and we're gonna revisit the 3 circles: the ideal client, right? And then the market gaps, as well as having the the perceptions, that's the word, right? And then we have the 3rd circle, which is your business. And where the 3 circles intersect is the golden opportunity that we all want to reside in, right? And so I wanted to talk through that, and so let's go through on your handout, right up at the top. We're going to do this in a slightly different way. We're going to talk about our favorite food. So I want everyone to shout out one at a time, just what is your favorite food to go out and eat? Somebody.
Sushi.
Sushi, okay. Anybody else?
Steak.
Steak, okay.
Burritos. Burritos are the perfect food group.
Burritos, perfect. So we've got sushi, steak, burritos. Anybody else?
Tapas, small plates.
What?
T-A-P-A-S, tapas, small plates.
Tapas, okay. Barbecue, all right. Anybody else?
Italian.
Italian, all right. Any more? Anybody else want to shout a food up there? All right, so if I were a business and I was trying to be a restaurant and I said, come do business with me, I sell food, which one of you would be like, oh, sign me up, that's it, that's where I'm going, right? I sell food. Who wants that? No, nobody, right? It doesn't work. You never see a restaurant that says I sell food. It just doesn't work. Every single restaurant knows what they're good at. I had a terrible experience a few months back. It was a little embarrassing. We went to a restaurant and they advertised that they're good at tacos. And Diana's like, I want a taco. Great, we'll go get a taco. So we go to get tacos, and I saw that they sell hamburgers on the menu. Don't ever buy a hamburger from a taco shop. They are not specials. That was like over here, their business had no business having hamburgers on their menu. It was a disaster. The tacos, and they're done. The hamburgers are like, do we have any buns? Hey, Louis, you got any buns? Like, it was bad. It took them forever to get my food done. When it was done, it tasted like eating cardboard, and it was a bad experience. That is an example where they were operating outside their circle. So let's now work on that. Everybody write down your favorite food, and then we're going to move into the second column, And this will all come together and it'll hopefully make it really solid so this never leaves your brain again. So your favorite food when eating out, write that down. Next column is the secondary things. When you're eating sushi, what kind of experience do you want?
Good question. Yeah. I mean, like fresh ingredients.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Perfect, yep. So you like fresh ingredients? Right? Who else? When we're eating barbecue, what do you like?
I like when they have sanitary, like hand wipes on the table area. It's very
Uh-huh.
helpful.
Perfect, that's great. How about eating steak?
I mean, I just want that steak that like melts in your mouth.
Perfect. And I bet you want a steak knife.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want a butter knife, right? So quality food and a steak knife. Anybody else? When they're going out to eat, what else do they want? Anybody, the burritos, tapas, Italian? What are you looking for?
I want a
Notes?
quiet atmosphere.
Quiet. Okay?
I get really excited when they don't have seed oils. That's why I like going to Wild Child because they cook their fries in tallow.
No seed oil, right? Perfect.
I like reliability, I like to know if I go back if the food will.
Reliable.
be,
Yeah.
The same.
Perfect. So now in your second column, write down those things that are coming to your mind about your experience wanting to eat food. And now, what is it you hate? When you go out to eat, what just grates you like nails on a chalkboard? What is it that just irritates the heck out of you? You can't stand it.
When it's really expensive and I could have done better at home. Oh, it pisses me off.
Okay, what else?
Rude people, or rude staff, whatever
Rude?
you think, yeah.
Yeah,
One bathroom.
Poor service.
poor service, okay?
Music choice sometimes bugs me.
The wrong music. Okay. So now fill that out in your third column, what you really hate. So now that you've got that filled out, we know enough information to know the golden opportunities for each one of you, because you've actually filled a lot of it out in these three columns. So now what we're going to do is we're going to explore. So if whatever your favorite food is, that is number one, right? So number one on there, it would be, for David, it's going to be steak. That should be steak. And for the other David, it's gonna be barbecue, right? And then number two is, they're going to give you that secondary benefit that you really love. When you're eating that food that you love, there's a secondary benefit, that's number two. And then the third on that 1, 2, 3 is the opposite of what you hate. And then we're going to fill it out as a sentence so we can tell this as a story. And I provided one extra and in case you have an extra love or an extra hate down here and you couldn't decide. So up above you only get 3, but down below you're going to get 4. So if we were to fill this out, the and it was for Jason, it would be the ideal restaurant for me, helps customers enjoy hamburgers, but you fill it out for yourself, helps customers enjoy hamburgers while providing all of the options that go on a hamburger, and plenty of French fries that were salted, and unlimited lemonade. If I want the perfect restaurant, it has that. That is my happy place. That's where I want to be. That would be the golden opportunity. If a restaurant did that, they would be serving me in the perfect way.
Can I ask a quick question?
Please do.
Can you clarify a little bit more about the difference between number 2 and number 3? Because for me, they're just the same thing, but opposite or inverted. Like, I want the food to be cooked appropriately, and I hate it when it's not cooked appropriately. So, like, what am I missing between the difference there?
You're not missing anything, but what I would say is look further and say, what else do you love and what else do you hate? So if you came up with 3 things that you love and 3 things that you hate, those 3 things may not always match as being opposites. Sometimes they do that, and that's great when they do, because that means you very much know what you want. But other people, and another example, if we take it away from food, and we'll say, what kind of job do you want to have? And a lot of people just give you a blank stare and they say, I don't know. But you say, well, what kind of job do you not want? And they can tell you immediately. They're like, the worst job in the world for me would be to be an accountant. And so sometimes people have a hard time filling the wants out, but they know what they hate. So if we go at it both ways, what we can do is we can spark, when they're thinking about what they hate, it'll often spark so that they know what they love, and vice versa.
Thank you, that was helpful, appreciate it.
Awesome. All right, so did anybody fill the ideal restaurant for me section out and wants to read it out loud for us?
I'm happy to.
All right, great, let's do it.
The ideal restaurant for me helps customers enjoy tapas while providing clean food and a variety of options and well-paced service. Because I don't like it all at once. I want it all spread out.
Perfect.
That's my ideal experience.
Great. So now if there's a restaurant that does that, you'd be there all the time. Happy
All
to.
in.
Yep. Anybody else?
My ideal restaurant helps customers enjoy healthy food, meat, vegetables, good carbs, while providing flavorful food and fast casual dining experience.
Excellent. And isn't it amazing how different each of us are on our ideal restaurant, right? There isn't a right way to do it. There's not a wrong way to do it. What it is it's a reflection of all of our varied preferences and choices and habits and experiences in life that determine what is ideal for each of us. And so as we go out in business, the better that we identify our golden opportunity as a business owner, and the more we stick to it, the more we're going to attract our tribe. But the most interesting thing is the people that used to be our competition no longer appear to be competition, because we're like, oh, you know what? You don't match my ideal customer profile, but I know these people over here, they serve customers that want exactly what you're saying. Let me refer them to you, because that's going to be a better experience for you as a customer, better experience for them as a business, and a better experience for you as a business, because you're not serving customers that have expectations over here that totally don't align with what you're wanting. So I want to go back one more time and make sure everyone's got their golden opportunity hammered out for their business. Has everyone taken the time to write out their 3 things that set their business apart, or do we need to go back and make sure we get that done? And I left you space right down here in case anyone didn't bring their paperwork from last time and needed to refill it. Is anybody struggling? Does anyone have any questions, or is your mind blank? Can I help you somehow? Is everyone ready to move on? Should we do this? All right. Who here has read one of those books where you get partway through the book and all of a sudden it says, choose your own adventure. Do you want them to do A or do you want them to do B? Has anybody ever read one of those books, or am I, apparently, anyone else? Hopefully? Yeah, we've had a few people. Okay. Today is Choose Your Own Adventure Day. But we all have to vote as a group. So there's 3 different areas that we're going to cover. Which one is most exciting to the majority? Is it social media? Is it your own website? Or is it the rest of the world? So you get a pick. Social media, raise the hands. Website, raise the hands. And then the rest of the web. Everyone for social media. Who wants to talk about that first? We've got, I see one hand up for social media. All right, David, was that a hand or? No, okay. Next is website. Who's most interested in website? I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4. Any on the board over there? Okay, so we got 4. And the rest of the web. We've got 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we are going to do website number 1. And then was it rest of web, the one second place? Okay. And then we'll do social. That is an awesome way of doing it. Okay, so on your workbook, we've got one page for each. And what we're going to do is we're going to work on the My Website sheet. But before we do that, we're actually going to talk about the ideal structure of a website, and page 2 is our guide to knowing what should be on your homepage of your website. So we're going to start with page 2, and let's so many good ways we can talk about that. All right, let's start off with a question. Who here has ever visited a website for a potential business that you wanted to do business with? Everyone, right? It's like, that's what we do nowadays. All right, why did you bother going to their website?
Validity. I want to know if they're a real good person and find out more information about them.
All right. Okay. Anyone else? Why did
For
you
me,
Yes.
for me, it's about feeling into their vibe, their energy.
Okay.
I want to know their qualifications.
Okay.
Did someone say prices yet? I want to know the price.
Price. Okay.
Some more information about them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what they offer, like if they offer more than what I know about.
Mm-hmm.
Testimonies.
Uh-huh. Let's now group these into one of 2 groups. Which ones of these are from the logic brain? And which ones of these are from the emotion brain? Valid, is that logic or emotion?
Logic.
Okay. Their vibe.
Emotion.
Qualifications.
Logic.
Price. More info. Offerings. Testimonials. All right. So, how do you decide if something is valid?
What you value.
Emotion. Basically, everything's emotional. I was thinking about that with price. Price is emotional,
What about their offerings? Why do you care about their offerings?
Does it resonate with me or not?
And what does resonate?
Emotion.
Interesting. And what about the more information? It's all emotion.
It's all emotion.
It is all emotion. And do we think, where do we think our emotions at?
The limbic system.
And is the limbic system part of the conscious brain? Or is it your gut telling your brain what to think? It's your gut. Most people, when they're building a website, they're trying to satiate. If you think of your brain as an ocean, right? Here we go, there's the waves. And it's all chaotic, and you have the storm blowing, and the wind, and the seagulls, and everything up here. That level is the conscious mind. We're down here. How deep's the ocean? Miles, right? It's way down there. Who knows how deep it is? The trench, I think the trench is over a mile deep, so we'll say a mile, right? And yet everyone's trying to build a website that serves the top 50 feet of water. So when we build a website, it's important to think about our customer and what they're coming for, but it's more important to recognize that our customers are going to choose down in the depths of their emotions whether they actually do business with any of us. And that is why, going back to that golden opportunity, when we know our customers so well that we know what they like, their kind of food, the kind of service they want in conjunction with the food, and the kind of service they hate, we're going to be able to speak to them in words that are going to go right to that subconscious mind. I love the fact that the subconscious mind, what are our senses? What senses do we have?
Smell, taste.
Smell, taste, sight. What else? Touch. And
Here.
hearing. Okay. How many of you right now are aware of the way that your pants is touching your legs? Everybody now, right? Because I said it. Up until that moment, you have all of these things, and they're all pushing data in. And then you have this giant filter, and that filter determines what's going to make it to the top of the ocean for your brain to actually recognize all the data. So your brain is dumping most of the data out and giving your conscious mind this teeny, teeny little sliver. So if we know the right words that resonate with the subconscious, it will make it through the filter to their conscious mind, and they're like, oh, I'm a logical person. It makes sense to work with this person, right? And their gut told them to do the whole thing, and they had no idea. So we're going to work on building a website that speaks to their gut today. All right, so let's do that. Starting out on page number 2, what is it that your business does or sells? You're going to write that down in space number 1.
Logically or emotionally?
I don't care, that's up to you.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever works for you. Okay, has everyone gotten that written down? What is it that your business does? Somebody raise your hand or shout it out. Go for it.
Yeah, a life with less aches, pains, and discomfort by getting to the root cause through chiropractic care.
Perfect. All right. That's great. Anybody else want to shout out what their business does?
We shore up a major point of confusion and disruption in business.
Great. Now, number 2, instead of describing it like you do, how does your customers describe it? What does your business do if your customers were saying it? We've got to use their words now. All right, who's stuck? Is anybody feeling stuck, or is it going all right? Has everyone gotten something written down? Do you need more time? Where are we at? Bethany, where are you at? You good?
Yeah, I did that first too, and I'm trying to think how to remove the words from the statement.
Excellent. Yep, that's the next step. Once you've written down from your customer's perspective and your perspective, start crossing out as many words as you can so you get to just the most important words. What are the most important words? And I'll give you a hint. They're probably the words your customer's saying as much as they're your words. All right, who's been successful at crossing out a ton of words? Was that easy or hard? I see one hand up there, perfect. You got it? Okay, great. Everybody good? Was that an easy or hard task? Good, because the next one's hard. The next one, we're going to consolidate what your business does in 3 to 8 words. And the fewer words, the better. Was it Shakespeare that said brevity is the soul of wit or something? I don't know. Some dead guy, I guess.
Wait, so are we reinstating what the customer would say or what you would say?
You're going to fuse that together in 3 to 8 words. All right. Who's been able to do that? Let's hear it.
Okay. I did a healing function, my best to enjoy life or to do what you love. Can done well too.
Perfect. Anybody else?
Discover your answers, forge your path.
Excellent. Okay, so now we're ready to start building the ideal website. So this is your home page of your website. And on your home page, you're going to have a header section. And the header section has a logo, navigation, typically a phone number. I was on a website the other day, and they are a local business, and they have a decent looking site, but they didn't have a phone number at the top. So I started scrolling through. I got clear to the bottom and no phone number. And no contact information. No address where they're located. I went to the contact page, and the contact information, they had a bunch of written up at the top, and then the contact was just above the footer. If I actually wanted to get in touch with them, I had to go to the contact us page, clear to the bottom, just above the footer, and there was their phone number. I'll give you a hint. Don't ever do that. You want that phone number to be super easy.
And where you're located, oftentimes.
Oftentimes.
You know, I'm looking for somebody to do landscaping, I need to know that they're in my area, and sometimes I cannot figure that out.
Totally.
So frustrating.
Yep, and we'll get to that. So right below your header is going to be what is commonly called a hero banner. Why it's called that, who knows, right? But that's what they call it. And on the hero banner, you put a 3 to 8 word message. How long does it take you to read 3 words? That fast, right? That fast. What reads that? When it's that fast, are you even consciously aware that you read it? Not really, huh? So if you can condense it down, the shorter you condense it down, and the more powerfully it's written so that it uses the words your customer uses to say what you do, the higher the probability it's gonna zing them right in the gut and they're like, oh, this is looking good, right? So you use the 3 to 8 word message, and then you use an image that resonates with that message. And if you want extra bonus points, you can do more than one image or a video. People will sit and watch a video forever. They just, I've literally seen, I was in a meeting, there's about 6 of us, they pull up the website, and their mouths just kind of go slack. Until the video looped, and then they're like, oh, and then they pulled out of it. But in that time, the video was speaking to them, telling them a visual story of what this business is, and they now get it in a way that they would have never got it if the video hadn't been there. Yes?
So that's in a banner, it's not clickable.
You are correct. It
Okay.
plays, the video would be in the background. That's one option. So you have your 3 to 8 word message, video in the background. That's one option. Another is to have an image, have your 3 to 8 word message. Another option is to have the image in the background, the 3 to 8 word message, and potentially, if you don't want it to be a silent video, you can put a video up here too, and it's a talking video. But that cannot be in the background. The talking video can't be in the background because background videos can't have noise, and it's really weird when someone's like, that creeps people out when that's playing in the background. So this has to be up front if it's going to be you talking. So this is critical because this is the first thing they're going to see. And when they land on the site, we're like goldfish. You got just a couple seconds, and then their brain's kind of like that, and they're off in la la land. So that's number one. Now, let's go back to your worksheet, and we're going to expand your summary of your business. So take that 3 to 8 word message, and you're going to look at all the words that you left up here in number 1 and 2 that were good, but not good enough to make it in your 3 to 8 word message, and that becomes your expanded statement. And that's going to be 12 to 20 words long. We're on page 2.
So on Squarespace, could I have it set up? So right now I have like my image, and on top of my image is my tagline. It's "Be the Guide to Your Own Life." And then right now I currently have like some other like text and picture type stuff under that. But can I have it set up where after that initial photo and tagline or hero message or whatever, that the next thing can be a video of me talking, and it automatically sets to start, like when they scroll down to that part of the page and the volume gets turned on. Is that a possibility in Squarespace?
So that used to be a possibility, but the W3 organization, which is the organization that says what should and shouldn't be done on the internet, decided, I think it was 4 years ago, don't quote me on that. At some point in the not so distant history, they said it's a really bad experience for humans to land on a web page and have a video play and the audio on. To the extent that Google Chrome and Firefox, which in today's world, those are basically the only two browsers that are being used. And if you don't believe me, you should, because I'm right. But Google Chrome, several years ago, Chrome browser said, we're going to give this away to anyone. Do you know who uses Google Chrome for their web browser now? Microsoft. So you're like, oh, I don't use Google Chrome. I use Microsoft's, what is it, browser? What? Edge, whatever it is, yeah. Edge is Google Chrome with Microsoft's logo on it. So every major web browser is Google Chrome, and the secondary web browser is Firefox, and then there's a very small percentage that actually use Apple's web browser. But all the major web browsers will actively try to stop your video from playing, one, or they'll mute it, two, if you have it on autoplay. And all of the major video hosting, if they catch you, they will change the link so that it plays muted if you set it to autoplay. So it's becoming more and more difficult to circumvent that, but that's a great question.
So would you say to put a video on, just knowing like that you'll have it muted, but put a video right after
So
the hero banner?
if you want to put a video and you're talking, I would put an engaging thumbnail on the video that encourages people to want to click on it, because if they actively push that button, they're inviting the sound. So that's how I would do it. All right, so who's been successful at writing a 12 to 20 word message? Anybody feeling confident right now, or still need some more time?
Yan has a.
I'll go for it.
Perfect.
My business offers an opportunity to be in connection with self while recognizing the barriers in your life.
I like that. What if we cut my business offers the opportunity and reword all of those down to one word on the front end? What is one word that we could substitute down? Because now you've just condensed it to even the most powerful words. And they know it's your business because they're on your website. But I don't want to be too critical because you did an amazing job, but that would be some adjustments I would make on that. But yeah,
Well,
great
so
job.
I'm my business. Like, I am my business. So would the words be I
Or offering.
offering? Okay. Okay.
I love action words at the start. Action words engage people.
How about I
So-
share mine?
Please do.
We produce innovative, effective, and professional videos and photos to spread the best message possible.
Excellent. I would change the start to be producing.
Just producing as
Yep.
an action. Yep.
Yep, because that immediately invites them to be taking action. At that subconscious level, they're going to feel that. Instead of it being talking about me as the business, we're just saying producing, which invites them to be a part of it.
I already have FOMO.
Excellent. Anyone else? Please.
Transformative breath science and self-regulation coaching for individuals, groups, and corporate teams. David's tailored sessions provide tools to elevate your well-being and enhance your performance in every aspect of life.
Nice. And what was that first word?
Transformative.
Transformative. How many of you feel like a fish on a hook when you see that word or hear that word? It just kind of reels you in a little bit, doesn't it? Using a powerful starting word will make such a difference on these statements. All right, so right below this 3 to 8 word message and the talking video, I often put it right at the bottom of the banner is going to be your 12 to 20 word message. And what that does is it allows for some clarity, expanding on your 3 to 8 word message, because that 3 to 8 word message should be powerful, but it's not going to tell them the whole story. Most of the time, it's impossible to tell the whole story in 3 to 8 words, but it's enough to get them engaged and keep them going and looking. Doing, again, 12 words is my preference, up to 20, but the shorter you keep it, the better the chances their brain will digest it and they'll engage with it. Now below that is going to be the most important thing that we've worked on this whole time, which is your core differences. What I call the golden opportunity, right? So you're going to have 1, 2, 3 core differences right here. And you're typically going to lay it out, so it's going to be the title for each one of these, and then somewhere right in this orange line, cutting this off at some, and it's different for every site, is like this. And then down below is the description. And you want to keep the description short and succinct, but can anyone give me one of their core differences in 2 to 3 words? One of your golden opportunities for your business. Who has a golden opportunity they want to shout out?
Wait, you're talking core differences and golden opportunities as...
They are one and the same.
Okay.
Your golden opportunity as a business should be, if it's done right, the things that set your business apart, which means that they are the core differences, the core foundation of your business compared to the rest of the world.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I have one multi-layered and community focused.
Perfect. So that would be the title. Then you have an amazing opportunity because you can now put a sentence that explains that right below that title. That way, if those words in the title catches somebody's attention, they're going to want to read that sentence. But if you keep that sentence succinct enough and you block them out like this, now this is a desktop display, not your phone, but you block it out like this, it makes it easy for them to skip over it to the next thing if the first core difference didn't really ring true for them enough to get them to want to read your description. Please.
How many core differences would you recommend?
2 to 4.
2 to 4.
Between 2 and 4, most people land on 3. There's something magical about 3. Humans are wired for 3. But sometimes you're like, oh, I only got 2. Or some people are like, oh, I really have 4. That's great. All right, so this orange thing indicates above the fold. And this is becoming less important, but the concept is still critical. On a newspaper, they wanted to catch your attention back in the day. So the newspaper would fold up in half. They would put the most important stuff at the top because it was above the fold, which means everyone saw it. If somebody came to your website and all they saw was the title of the 3 core differences or your golden opportunity, right? They saw that about your business and saw that you offered steak that's high quality and you have steak knives. David's gonna be hooked, right? But if he came and he saw that it was going to be sushi, he might bounce. So this should be enough to emotionally engage most people. And now, once we've gotten past this, they're just trying to look for ways to convince the conscious mind that they want to do business with you. And so the conscious, the logical brain is like, well, I have to know the price. So we'll put something on there that helps satiate that. Or they're like, I want to know the other offerings. So we'll put something down below the fold that's going to help with that. But the major selling happens right here. This is going to be the most important point. Phone number. Some people will land here and be like, yep, that's for me. Click that phone number and call. Yeah.
So what if it's book an appointment over phone number? Does that justify using that instead of the phone number?
How many people are ready to book when they land here versus how many are like, I wonder if, and they're like, well, I'm not gonna book an appointment, I just have a question.
Right.
Well,
So,
but even in like the header piece of it, you'd rather have a phone number than it saying book an appointment.
I do both.
You do both.
If you're going to offer online booking,
Mm-hmm.
I would have both. That
Okay.
would be my recommendation, because they can easily comprehend that instantaneously and they'll know which one they want.
Okay,
Yes?
thank you.
Unless I missed it, what do you mean by above the fold?
Oh, perfect. So above the fold was a term that they used in the newspaper printing world, where the newspaper would be unfolded and you'd have the whole page, but then all newspapers were folded in half. So above the fold is the top half of that. So when you had that newspaper in your hand, before you unfolded the bottom half, the above the fold was that top section. And they would always put the biggest, most engaging, most exciting picture with the biggest, most engaging, exciting story headline. And then they put a secondary headline onto the right-hand side, and potentially there'd be a big message right here that starts the story off. That was above the fold on a newspaper. That is the concept that translated to the way we design web, because it worked so well on newspapers. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, it did.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I have another question.
Yes.
And I'm looking for a little clarity in the realm of mission statement, vision, and summary. How much are these similar?
All right, so you asked about mission, right? Vision, and summary?
Yes.
Okay. So this is going to be solely Jason's interpretation on the world. So there will be people that tell me that I am dead wrong and I'm okay with that. But your mission is very closely related to your vision. But I use the word vision like a road trip. There is a destination that I'm going to achieve, and it's always tied to a location. So my mission is something I will never achieve. My mission is to help everyone be better at marketing and branding and communicating their website and their business through the web. That is my mission. My vision is that in the next 5 years, I am personally going to help 100,000 business owners improve their online presence in some way or another. My summary is taking my mission, my vision, my core differences or my golden opportunity, my 3-word message, my 12-word message, putting it all into a blender and spitting it out in one paragraph, only including the most important chunks.
Awesome. That's fabulous.
That's
Thank
a
you.
great question, because down here, what I recommend is, depending on your business, you'll either go to an about directly below this, or you'll go to your services right below the fold. The first thing below the fold is either one of these, and it kind of depends on how strong your story is versus how much people just care about the services. And so there's no right answer, but it's one of those two. And the about will typically have a picture and a blob of text. And you can flip-flop it whatever way you want, but the picture always hooks them. And then they'll read the text. If you want extra brownie points on this, then the picture is slightly looking towards the text. So if the text was to my left, I would be leaned slightly this way. Because it's going to, humans look at eyes, and it will direct them to look at the text. And then with services, you want to just list out what you do in very brief way. So we're not trying to tell the whole story. It's going to be a title and a brief description. Title, brief description, title, for each one of your major service categories. All right. Now, between the About Us section and the Services section, we're going to inject our first call to action. So if we have this one first and this one second, between them will be your CTA, call to action. And a call to action doesn't have to be tricky. Like, have a question, give us a call, and your phone number. Because most of the time, that's what people are thinking. Like, I wonder, and that's where their brain's at. I wonder. And then they run down the page a little bit and like, oh, yeah, I do have a question. And then they give you a call because you addressed where their brain was at that moment and invited them to take action, and then you put your phone number right there. Yes?
So I'm curious, I know I've talked with other people in regards to websites and they've said do the call to action pretty quickly, like in above the fold, if you will. What's your, I mean, do you agree with that, or would you still say provide this information first and then do your call to action later?
So I think that on some pages, a call to action is a very good thing right at the start, but we already have one. It's right there. So if somebody's ready at that moment, they'll see that. But if they start to scroll, they're going to get caught in a couple more call to actions. So yes, you can put one up there, as long as you don't clutter it. You really want to convey what makes you different right up front. Because if you can get that to hook in their gut, then they're going to want to do business with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, really quick, Jason, not so much about what you're discussing, but at least for me, the writing on the whiteboard is pretty hard to see. So I wonder if you could just give like a brief summary when you tap on it.
Absolutely. Thank you for
Thank
calling
you.
that. Yeah, perfect. So is there any parts of the whiteboard that, can we actually, would it help if we turn the lights down a little bit maybe? I wonder if that would increase the contrast. Is this it over here?
Darker pens will, like black.
Is that better? Does that help? Not really?
Can you zoom in, Jimmy?
No, they said no.
Okay. Turn around. So is the black coming through okay?
Black is better.
Is black
That
coming-
was an improvement, yes.
Okay. All right. So is there any more questions about what we've talked about so far on the website?
There's the about section and then there's the services. Like right now I have like the first block is kind of like a general idea of the process that I do with people, not necessarily like, oh, group sessions, one-on-one, this or that. It's just more like the idea of the modalities and whatever. And then the about is like a blurb about me. So in a case like that, do you think I should still have like what you're talking about, like specific services, like, oh, book a one-on-one, book a package, or this or that, like those types of services, or is it enough to just explain what it actually is?
If you were your customer, which one would you want?
I think I would want the generality on the front page and then to be able to click the, you know, move, take action, whatever button, and then to be able to see my options from there with all the pricing on a new page.
Then you're right.
Okay,
Yeah, because you know your customer better than I do.
okay.
One option that you can do with that services listing it out is you can have that paragraph right above, and then you can put group, individual, virtual, in-person, very small summary list so that they know the different options before they even move to that other page. So I'm not saying that you have to go the full length of writing all that out. This is very much, it's all about what your customers are going to resonate with. That's what matters. So below the services and below the about us, you're going to now do social proof. And this can feel daunting sometimes. The most common social proof is testimonials, right? 5,000 5-star reviews, whatever. That is a really good one. So there are testimonials you can use as social proof. You can also use numbers. Been in business for 25 years. Over 75 years combined experience. All of those are designed to increase the trust that someone has that you're a reputable business. So I'm just gonna shoot through a few of these. You can do testimonials. You can do logos of businesses that you associate with that they trust. So for David, if he was a partner with Lenovo or only recommends Lenovo parts, he could put the Lenovo logo on his website. Our partners include, or we recommend Lenovo, Microsoft, whatever his technology stack is. And that's helpful if your customers trust those logos. So that's, again, another option. Numbers are amazing, but then it gets to the absurd, where it was really popular about 6 years ago. People would put the number of cups of coffee that they've drank on their website. And I think they were trying to be tricky and clever, but it really doesn't build social trust unless you're maybe selling coffee or something, I'm not sure. But numbers are critical. So there was a roofing company that was like, oh, I don't have any numbers that I can put on there. I said, well, how many nails have you guys pounded? You're like, millions? I guess you got a number, don't you? If you've pounded literally millions of nails, that kind of sounds like you're a big deal. So that's what we're trying to do is, what would your customers, what would they care about? What numbers, what testimonials, what logos, what messages would cause them to increase their trust in you? And then here's the biggest one, guarantees. That is the biggest social trust. So a guarantee, we skimmed over guarantees last time, and I apologize for that, and we probably don't have enough time to go into depth on them, but guarantees are critical. And a guarantee, the best guarantees don't promise money back, because that's not what people really want. People want you to promise that you're going to behave a certain way. If you promise you're going to behave a certain way, it's not a matter of the money. The money back is what people want when they don't trust you. If they do trust and you say, we promise to brighten your day, that's a guarantee. That is a guarantee on how your company is going to behave itself. And there's a plumbing company that we talked about that, and they're like, that's going to be our guarantee. Because every time they go in to do a job, the customer's having a bad day. Guaranteed. If they're getting called out on a service call, they're having a bad day, the plumbing company is going to brighten their day. So guarantees, huge. I highly recommend you have a guarantee down here. And then at the very bottom, oh, one more thing with testimonials. Whatever you do, don't put the newest testimonials up. And don't change them out every month. It doesn't matter. The people coming to your website don't know if that testimonial showed up this morning or 100 years ago. What you need to do with a testimonial is you need to find the most succinct, most powerful testimonials and put them up. And if you get one that's newer, that is more powerful and more succinct, then you put it up. But we don't just switch out testimonials just because you have new ones. That's not it. A lot of people will fall for that trick and they'll be like, my website feels so stale. Yeah, because you've looked at it every day for 3 years. But I promise you, the person that just heard about your business, they have no idea if your website is brand new or not. The only way they know is if it looks dated. As long as the information's up to date and it's compelling, it doesn't matter if that testimonial is 6 months old. So don't worry about changing those out all the time.
Would you have a page with like all your testimonials where you just keep adding and adding and adding, and it's a whole page of testimonials, but then like take your 3 best to put across on the front page of your website?
How often do you spend time on those pages?
I like to look through some of them. Well, I'm a very detailed research type person, so.
And so for your ideal customer, they probably, yes?
Sorry to interrupt. Did anybody order delivery for Gregory?
Okay, sorry.
No, but it depends what they ordered.
I don't know what it is, but if it's good, I'll send it.
Ordered
Barbecue
steak,
steak.
sushi.
Yeah. Thanks, guys, sorry.
So
That's okay.
if your ideal customer needs a lot of social trust before they're going to let their guard down and trust, then that might make sense. But again, I would only put the powerful testimonials on that page too. Yeah. Any other questions? All right, then we're clear down to the bottom of the site. And down here is your footer at the very bottom. And you have your copyright, and you'll have links to your stuff, like the other pages, and you'll maybe put your logo down here, oops, down there again at the bottom. But the thing you want the most is a phone number, right there, so that they can know how to reach you. Because if they've made it down to the bottom of the site, and they don't have some way of taking action, then they're gonna scroll back up and then bounce. But between all the guts and the footer, so between all the, below the social proof and above the footer, you want one more call to action. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Yeah.
For the phone number at the bottom, does it matter which side it's on? Is your preference?
No. Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. So humans in America have been programmed to read left to right. So yes and no. If they get to the footer, I don't think there's a huge difference, because if they make it all the way down there, they're probably gonna look across. And if your phone number's big, it'll probably be okay. But if you want it on the left, that's cool. If whatever at that point really looks good. As long as you're getting it on there, I think you'll be okay. Some people have their footer all aligned to like a Christmas tree with the stuff in the middle, and I don't know, whatever floats your boat.
Okay.
Right? All right, any questions on the perfect homepage? Yeah.
Jason, you suggested the video up top. What about the ability to load the page? Like, videos are bigger files. Does that affect your SEO and everything else because of the size of that file and how long it takes to load the page?
Amazing question. So your page needs to load approximately as fast as your competitors. So as long as you're within that same normal range of your competitors, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's 5 seconds, doesn't matter if it's 70 seconds, doesn't matter if it's 1 second. Google grades you against your competitors. Not very many websites are punished for being too slow. And very, very few are rewarded for being uber fast. You basically have to strip out almost your entire website if you want to get a reward for being fast. Google will, so Google owns the world, but in the web, they just do. And Google has tools called Google Analytics, and it's a little tracking code. If you put Google Analytics on your website loads slower. If your website loads slower because of Google Analytics, Google says, we're not giving you a reward for having a fast loading website. So, it's very difficult to actually be to that cutting edge that's gonna get a big reward. So my recommendation is don't bother stressing as long as you're about as fast as your competition. Now, to directly answer your question, this video won't have any effect because you have to click on it before anything streams. So the only thing that loads up, well, mostly the only thing that loads up is a little bit of JavaScript to preload to get it ready and a thumbnail. The background video, in today's world, most web browsers will offload anything below the fold to a certain extent. And so this can slow your site down, but you can also tell the video don't load until the rest of the page is loaded, depending on how the site's built. So most of the time it's not a huge issue, but it can be sometimes. So maybe. Any other questions? All right, let's jump.
Actually, I do have a question.
Yes.
What is too many videos or too many buttons on the homepage? Is there such a thing?
Is there too many videos and too many buttons? Yes, you can. But too many, to a certain extent, is subjective. And we're kind of getting into the rest of the web with that question. But the short answer that keeps it here is, as long as your customers or your potential customers are having a very good user experience. And you've got people that come and they engage and they enjoy. At that moment, you don't have too many and too much. Remember how I told you that everyone uses the Google Chrome browser? Well, Google Chrome, that browser, is literally a spy. Google is collecting data on everywhere you go to, how long you stay on the site, how much you scroll down, how much you interact, and they feed it back to Google, and Google uses that data to know which websites engage well with people, and that's a factor that they use in search engine optimization to rank you higher. And it's also a factor at some level for Google for paid. How well people interact with your site is a factor on how much you pay on Google Ads.
Can I weigh in on that real quick too?
Yes, please.
To your point, Jason, if you look at Amazon, I literally just listened to an education on this. If you look at Amazon, they're a prime example of how it is possible to have a vast amount of stuff as long as it's relevant and you create a user interface to create a good experience, like you said.
100%. Thank you. That is the best example ever because they own the e-commerce world.
Yep.
All right, so let's jump really quickly because I want to get to number 2 and number 3 in our Choose Your Own Adventure to my website. We're going to fill out page 4 very quickly. It shouldn't take very long. All right. So there is one rule or one ring that rules them all, right? When it comes to a website, and right up here at the top, it says the number 1 rule for website is : and now you're going to write down the answer to that. The number 1 rule for every website that should determine everything that goes on it and everything that you think about in regards to a website is, does my ideal client want to work with me because they see the site? It's that simple. If you have anything on your site that detracts that ideal client and makes them hesitate doing business with you, then your website is not as good as it could be. So everything about your site comes back to that one rule. When you keep that one rule in your brain, then you measure everything you put on your site in regards to that one rule, then you'll do well. Google has spent a fortune to try and mimic humans so that they know whether websites are helping move people to want to do business. So that is the number 1 rule. All right. Number 2 is the next one. Does my ideal client blank because they visited my website? What would the answer to that be? Do they want to work with me? You got it. All right, everybody figured out the most important rule. Good job. So number 1 and number 2, basically the same thing. It is that important in today's world that we keep that in mind. All right, so I have some questions. Does my website say it? And what the heck does Jason mean, does my website say it? When your customers come to your new ideal website or your existing website, does your website say why they should want to do business with you? Does it express that in the way that it's written? Give yourself a score, 10 is best. Does your current website express in the written form why they should want to do business with you? What's your score? 1, terrible, 10, amazing. And then number 2, does my website show to my ideal clients why they should want to do business with me? And show means, do the colors flow well? Do the images reflect that? If you have a video, is the video showing that compelling story? So it's more the visual presentation of, does the website really convey that message at the gut level? We don't care about the logic level. The logic follows along. It's kind of like the guy sitting on an elephant, right? He tells the elephant where to go and the elephant does what it wants, right? So does the website show it? And then last, Coming back to social proof right here, does my website prove it? Do you have a guarantee on your website? Do you have testimonials on your website? Do you have any associative trust with brands they already may trust, if you have any? If your website does that, then you're doing pretty good. Now, down at the bottom, what are your notes on what you're going to fix? I invite you to just take anything that popped into your mind, I'd invite you to write that down. All right, so now we're going to jump to the rest of web, and it's going to go so much faster than the website one because it's so much easier. All right, page number 5, rest of web. Is everybody good? Can I erase this?
Do you want to take a picture first?
Sure. That's a good idea. Just love my handwriting that much. All right, so the rest of the web, the very most important thing that any of us can worry about is your Google Business Profile. How familiar are you with Google Business Profiles? Does anyone not know what they are? Everybody knows what they are. Great. So, quick summary, Google Business Profile is that section when you say plumber near me, and it pulls up the maps, and next to the map, it has the different business options, and it says Bob's Plumbing, Joe's Plumbing, Mary's Plumbing, right? That is all information being powered by the Google Business Profile. So, there's things you do once, and things you do over and over with the Google Business Profile. Why do we even care about a Google Business Profile? Because Google has a goal to keep anyone searching on Google as long as they'll stay on Google. They don't want them going to your website. Google does not want people on your website. They want people to stay on Google. So, if you want customers from Google, you have to play their game a little bit. So, Google Business Profile, over here on the left, you need your company name. Very simple when you're filling it out. You need your phone number, either a service area. Oh my goodness, on the website I completely forgot one critical area. It was your service area. You need to list that down there by the social trust. I apologize that I neglected to say that earlier. But that is critical because you're going to say the names of the cities. So if you're working with people in Caldwell, Nampa, Eagle, Star, Boise, Meridian, Kuna, it's good to list out each one of those because putting those words on there helps reinforce to Google that you're doing business in that area. Service area or address, depending on how your business is set up.
What if you are a web-based, what if you are, you meet people online? How do you address that?
Great question. I serve people anywhere in the United States for my business. So my service area states that while we're based in Boise, Idaho, we service clients all across the country. And in my SEO book, we talk a little bit about that concept of you can have your service area as an additional page, and then you can actually have additional pages on top of that to drill into. So if you really wanted to focus on the Phoenix area, you can do that, and you can build pages that talk specifically about serving people in those cities. But that's a little more advanced than probably our conversation we want to go into too much. All right, so service area or address, products and services, which are different. And services are essentially a list of words that it'll be like 2 words, like tire replacement, tire repair. That's the services. Products you can get in, you can put a picture, a title, a description. They don't allow products on all business categories. So depending on which category, Google may say, no, you can't have that. but you wanna dig for it and see if you can find it. Yes, please.
Can you just go back to what this list is?
This
Just
is
as we jumped
the
around
list
over them.
of your Google Business profile. When you're filling it out, these are things you do one time over here, and then we're going to list things you'll want to do on a regular basis on this side. So again, one-time name, phone, service area, product, services, and then you'll put a description, and you'll put photos, and you'll put your business category, and you can pick up to 3, with 1 being your primary category. Over here on the right are things you're going to do over and over and over as long as you're in business. Over here, you're going to want to add photos. If there's any way humanly possible to add photos on a regular basis, you want to do that. Because the photos reinforce to Google that you're in business, you're active on your Google business profile, you're a legitimate business, and Google will read all the metadata. So if you turn your location on your camera, when you take the photo, it will upload the location that the photo was taken, and that reinforces to Google where you do business. So if you are a plumber and you head out all over the valley and you're every job like that snapping photos, and you upload those, Google knows, oh, that picture's from Cumin. Oh, that one's from Nampa, that one's from Caldwell. Wow, they really do service all those areas.
How do you do that on your phone? How do you make sure is that
It
just
depends on how, so whether you turn that on or not, depends on how creeped out you are by Big Brother. So if,
You know everything anyway.
yeah, there you go. So most phones come with it automatically turned on. You have to turn it off if you don't want that most of the time.
Oh, okay.
So most likely they're already tracking all your photos. Okay, there you go. Yep, they do everything. So photos number 1. Number 2 is getting new reviews. And that one is obvious. And then anytime you get a review, respond to it. Oops. Respond to every review, even if it's a negative one. People like to see that you respond to those, even if the people that you respond to don't appreciate it. And keep it classy. It never helps to go wallowing in the mud with the pigs. So if somebody comes and they say that you are the worst person on planet Earth and that they would never do business with you again, you say, I apologize that our service didn't meet your expectations. If there's anything that can be done, please reach out to us via our phone number, and we would be happy to discuss the matter with you and come to an equitable resolution that all parties would enjoy, but make it sound human. Right? Respond to it, even negative reviews. And then there's a section called updates. This is cool. You have an opportunity to post stuff kind of like a Facebook status update. And Google likes it if you do this at a minimum every 7 days. Post every 7 days at a minimum, like clockwork. Makes Google happy, yes.
So with the photos, is that a separate, I'm trying to think of the Google Business page and being on it, because you can put photos in your updates, but you're saying the photos piece of it is separate.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you are correct. Updates allow you to have a title, an image, a description, and an optional button link.
Correct.
Those are the 4 elements of an update. Photos, you can just upload as many photos as you want, and up at the top, it'll usually, when they're displaying,
Yeah. it's
there'll
up
be
there.
one photo and then the map showing where your business is. If you look at that and you click on it, it'll sometimes say 55 photos, 13 photos, 2 photos, 7 photos, or it'll say 7 plus. And when you click on that as a user, you can see all the photos that have been uploaded, and those will include any photos that Google took when they were driving by of your business location, and any that customers upload as well. I had one customer, and they hadn't uploaded any photos, but a disgruntled customer had. And so the disgruntled customer had taken a random photo of a dead lawn, wasn't even the lawn that they were servicing, and uploaded it, and that was their landscaping photo because they never put photos up. They didn't get many customers from Google.
So you're saying, so that's in that page where it says like add services or edit profile, that's where you. put
Edit
all the
profile,
photos.
yep. Yep, you'll see a spot to add photos.
Okay.
Yep,
Do,
you got it.
do you have suggestions for photos for a service-based business? Like, you know, do we put photos of our guys working on their computer?
Absolutely. So Google used to have whole categories for photos. They'd have a category for your logo and brand photos. They'd have categories for the location. They'd have categories for the team. They'd have categories for customer supplied. And they aren't as big on having categories, but still, anything you can think of. So if your team is working on a server and it looks nice, you snap a photo of maybe the server, or if you have a nice wiring that comes off the back of the computer and it looks nice, you snap a picture of that. Anything you can think of that makes your business look more reputable would be good. Yeah, team members sitting at their computer. Mm-hmm.
I had somebody recently mention that if too many customers do a review from the actual business location, that some of those will be blocked. Do you know anything about that, Jason?
Google blocks reviews for any reason they feel like forever. There's no recourse. The only thing you can do is request that keep giving you reviews. But the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to have your computer or your tablet or some device that you hand them to do a review. Google tracks the IP address. So if they pull their phone out and they do a review, that feels much more legitimate because Google knows you're doing business here, and that makes it legitimate because Google knows your address even if it's not published. And if people come to your place of business and they leave you a review when they're roughly in that location, that feels very legitimate to Google if it came from their device.
Oh, so interesting. So you're saying that it almost seems more legitimate from Google if you are in the vicinity of their business?
Yes, maybe.
Yes,
Are you a service-based business where you're going to be in their home, or are they a business where they'll be in your office getting a chiropractic adjustment? It makes a lot of sense for a chiropractic office to get reviews in their office.
Right, right.
And it makes a lot of sense for a roofer to get reviews from the client's homes.
Yeah, and mine would be both.
And Google's smart enough to know that.
Yeah. And again, you know, maybe these are myths, maybe these are whatever, right? And like you said, I'd say yes, maybe, right? Because there's so many variables. I had also heard like if you get too many in one day, that could raise a flag.
Yes and no.
Potentially.
Again,
Okay.
it depends on all the factors. Google will look at mountains of data, and then they pull legitimate reviews away from you for no reason, it appears.
Yeah.
And then, but they'll keep the least legitimate reviews ever as well. So, yeah, and it happens to everybody.
Exactly.
They're equal opportunity at hurting small business owners. They don't usually single people out with that. All right, any quick questions on Google before we move on to the rest of the web besides Google Business Profile? All right, we're gonna quickly move away from Google Business Profile to the rest of the web. So in the rest of the web, we're going to now jump over to link building and citation building. And a citation is, and we have a spot right there on the page where you can fill in the answer. A citation is any time that a business, an individual, or any entity talks about your business in some way and does not link to you. So we could go into this, but we're running short on time. So we're going to try and keep it, trim it down as much as we can. The things that matter for both links and citation is you want to keep it on par. The more on par you are, the higher the value. So PAR is an acronym. Proximity, authority, and relevance. All right, years ago, I had a customer. This is a long, long time ago, and they got a link. Now this is like, the link showed up before I even started working with them about, it was like 2006. And they got a letter. This was a manufacturing company, and they got a letter from the FDA. And the FDA was angry with my customer because they may or may not have potentially made claims about their product which were not verifiable by the Food and Drug Administration. So do not cross us because we will come after you. And they posted that letter with a link to my customer's website. And it was the greatest thing ever. It was amazing because FDA.gov. They are in the United States. So is my customer. You don't get more authority in the United States than the federal government. And they linked to my customer's website. My customer's website went in the search results because one of the most authoritative organizations in the country linked to them. There is no bad links and bad citations when they are on par.
That's like good publicity and bad publicity is still publicity.
Exactly. One of the greatest stories ever, going back to the chiropractic world, Dan, what was his name? What's his last name? I went to see him in February. Dan Kennedy. Dan Kennedy was one of the founders. Dan Kennedy was the actual founder. He worked with the original guy that put together chiropractic programs. And this first chiropractic office, Dan Kennedy told the whole story when I was there. That first chiropractic office, the guy became filthy, stinking rich. So much so he had a massive yacht. 60 Minutes said, we want to interview you. We're so interested in what you did. The chiropractor, total newbie, brought them on the yacht and explained how he made so much money that he can now afford a yacht, right? 60 Minutes cut this guy off at the knees. Like literally just skewered him on their 60-minute special because he was hurting people, right? For the next 6 years, they used as seen on 60 Minutes on their website and on anything, like any any publication, anytime, anywhere, as seen on 60 Minutes. Even that terrible publicity was great publicity because nobody went back to watch the 60-minute episode 6 months later. They didn't, oh wow, they're on 60 Minutes. These guys are amazing. So again, no publicity is bad, and just publicity. All right, so proximity. How close are they in relative to your business? So how much of an authority figure are they, and how relevant are they compared to your business? So if you get someone talking about your business, and they're either linking to you or just mentioning your business, and they are one of your biggest competitors here in the Valley, that's going to count huge for you. It's really hard to get them to do that, but if they did, it would count huge. But if Dijon has a flower shop in India, and he links to your website, Google knows that has no proximity, no authority, no relevance to you. That link or that citation is garbage. Don't worry about it. So there's going to be, if you go online, there's going to be people who say, I can get you 1,000 links, $5. But they have no proximity, no authority, no relevance, no value to you. Don't worry about it. If you do that, and you do that too much, Google will actually punish you still. But you have to really try and cross that line. So that is what you need to know about links to citations. Here's a few strategies I'm going to throw out real quick. Yes?
I'm not sure if this relates to this, but this just
Go for
popped in. So like, as well with my business, it's national and global. So would it benefit me to have people that are in other states and whatnot leave me reviews? Like, how does Google look at that? Should they state that they're, I live in, does that make sense?
100%.
I'm just trying to think how that would.
If you service other states,
Yes.
then it makes sense that you get reviews from other states.
Okay, does that help legitimize something with Google? or
Absolutely.
is that- okay.
Yep, as long as they're real, then you're good.
Yeah.
Yep,
Thank
just
you.
keep it real. All right, so here's some strategies to either build links or citations. Get featured on local news. Get them to talk about you in some way. That is a gold mine. Absolute gold mine. That's number one. Join groups or organizations that might talk about you on either social media or their website, like an organization like GeoWeb. That will help your SEO. If you support or sponsor events and or nonprofits, and they talk about you in any shape or form, and that makes it onto the website, that will help you. If you get referral partners to talk about your business on their website or on their social, that will help you. If you get on podcasts, that will help you. If you have a YouTube channel talking about your business, that will help you, which is the segue into social media. Does anyone have questions on the rest of the web?
Can you repeat those 5 one more time, please?
Sure. Get on a local news, get featured on local news. Join groups or organizations that will talk about you on social media or on their website. Support or sponsor events or nonprofits that will talk about you either in some way that will make it online. Get referral partners to talk about you. Be on a podcast and be on YouTube. Good, awesome.
And
All right.
this, in general, will build your SEO and your Google ranking for your own website when you do
Yes.
this.
Yes. Shameless plug for Jason McKenzie. If any of you have questions about local SEO, I wrote the book on it. There's my handsome beard right there. And we have these books. So if you're interested, happy to help you out with that. Very affordable.
Number 6, always plug.
Jason's book. All right, social media. Who loves social media? Wait, no. Who hates social media? Raise their hands. Who hates social media? Anybody? Or the rest of you lying? All right.
Sometimes, yes.
I loved social media. It was 2007. And Sarita said to me, Jason, have you heard about this cool thing? It's called Facebook. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, let me introduce you. And in like, I don't know, 12 hours, I had hundreds and hundreds of friends on Facebook. And they were all the people I'd met over the years. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And it was. It was the shiny object syndrome, right? The shiny object we get excited about. That was social media back then. Now, who has, and I wish we had more time, but we don't, who has seen Groundhog's Day, the movie, right? Needle-Nosed Ned? If you're being Needle-Nosed Ned, and you're doing that on social media, that's what not to do. And for any of you who don't know who Needle-Nosed Ned is, he is a guy that Phil had met or knew in high school, hadn't seen each other in probably, 19 years or something, or 20 years, and now all of a sudden he sees Phil, and he's like, Phil, it's Ned! Needle-Nosed Ned? You know, the whistling belly button trick? Hey, I sell life insurance. Do you have life insurance? You need life insurance. If you don't have life insurance, you need more life insurance. If you do have life insurance, you need more life insurance. Who's seen people do that online? Right? It's terrible, isn't it? Social media is a party. You have to pretend whenever you're on social media that you're at a party. What would you say at a party? If you're out there selling life insurance at a party, then you will be Needle-Nosed Ned, and you will be shoved in the corner, and no one will want to talk with you ever again. So don't be Needle-Nosed Ned at the party. Instead, what do people want to talk about?
Themselves.
Right? Everyone talks about themselves, right? But before we even get to that level, there's something critical that we have to talk about, and the answer is different. So on your sheet, where's our social media sheet here? All right. Everybody, you know what social media is. How much time should I spend on it? Anybody? What's the right answer?
It's like a half hour or something I've heard.
Half an
As little time
hour.
as possible.
What's that?
As little time as possible.
Ding, ding, ding. David has it. You spend as little time as possible. That is the right answer. But there is an objective, right? Why be on social media?
Because you don't exist otherwise.
You don't exist. And why does it matter if you exist?
Because
It's
that's how
like
you.
reputability.
Yeah.
Reputability.
Yes.
And reputability buys you what?
Trust or validity.
And all of this is so that you'll get more customers.
Yes.
So the only reason any business is on social media is to go to the party to find customers. So how do you find customers at the party? All right, in the social media world, there are two types of people. Are you a consumer or are you a producer? When you consume social media, you will spend an inordinate amount of time not accomplishing anything. But when you have a strategic purpose, you become a producer. And you can become a producer even when you're consuming what other people are putting out. And that's a little tricky. If there's somebody that you have as a referral partner, and they put a piece out on social media, you become a producer when you like and comment and share on it. Because you're now helping a referral partner, and when you help a referral partner will help you get more customers. So that is how you convert yourself from being a consumer of social media to a producer. So that is one strategy, is you can like, share, and comment on what your referral partners are producing. All right, should I buy ads? Most of the time the answer is no. Unless you know what you're doing, most of the time don't do it. Unless you just want to spend a few bucks because you're like, well, I can't go to Vegas this weekend, I'm gonna lose it anyway, then go ahead. Or you can buy my book, you'll probably spend less buying my book than you would on promoting your ads. All right, personal versus business page. Some of them, there's not really a choice. What's up?
Can I interrupt real quick?
Please
Did you
do.
skip the what platform should I be on on purpose?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And we're going to answer that soon.
Okay,
But
got it.
personal versus business, some platforms, there's not a difference. But Facebook is, everyone's like, oh, Facebook's dying. Who has a Facebook page? Yeah, everyone in this room, right? So the people that are like young and broke are not on Facebook. So if any of you serve the young and broke, don't be on Facebook. It's that easy. But on Facebook, you have this option of being a person, and everyone has to be a person before you can have a business page, right? How many times do you do business with a business, and how many times do you do business with a person?
It's a person.
It's always a person,
business,
isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah. When you get big enough, then the person becomes a quote-unquote celebrity or influencer. But it's almost always with a person, and that person has a business. So on Facebook, they reward doing business as a person, because Facebook encourages human-to-human interaction, and they charge for businesses to do anything on Facebook. If you publish something as a business page, you will get just a fraction of the traffic and impressions if you post it as a person. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I tested this last summer. I noticed that when I posted the events public on my business page, it was crickets. And so I pivoted and switched it up. So I started posting now on both pages, and it seems like the personal page is the one that's actually getting seen, not the business. And it's the exact same event going out.
Exactly. So you post real quick first, and then I'll jump to you. You post it as a person, and then your business shares it on their page.
Okay, answer my question.
Excellent.
So then you do, I mean, okay, it's just your personal page first, and then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if you connect your Instagram to your Facebook business page?
Your personal Instagram, or you have a business Instagram?
Business Instagram.
That's great.
That works too?
Yeah, that's,
So
so you've got your business page on Facebook, and you have a business page on Instagram.
Correct.
And anything that goes on the Facebook goes to Instagram as well. That's what you're saying?
technically, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, is it, if I do them separately just because of what it is on my page, like, is it okay if I do them separately, or is it more beneficial to make sure they're connecting and posting together?
I have never seen any research that says one way or the other.
Okay, cool.
That is a question I have no clue on.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so what platform should you be on? I think everyone should be on Facebook because everyone already is. I think that YouTube builds you a lot of credibility Now, YouTube, there's no difference between a business and a personal. You just have a YouTube account. You can name it whatever you want. I name them my business names on YouTube because I don't care to have my own personal YouTube. So it's been branded under my businesses. TikTok has gained a ton of traffic, and they're still in the Wild West phase much more than Instagram or Facebook. TikTok used to be absolute garbage to do business on. Some people still say it is, others don't. TikTok is all short form videos, so if you enjoy short form video, TikTok can be good, and you can potentially connect. But again, it's going to be connecting as a person. Even if it's a business page, it's always a face talking that makes the connection. You never get on TikTok so that you can watch a business doing their business thing. Nobody does that. So if you have that person to person, you can be on TikTok. Same with all the other social media. The best answer is go back to your ideal customer, identify them, find out where they're at, and be there. That's the right answer. But it's almost always YouTube and Facebook.
Where's Instagram fall in that?
Instagram is owned by Facebook, and they're so connected you can't even separate them.
Okay.
It's irritating that they even made it, because I'm like, it's the exact same thing, it's just now I have to go and like post and scroll in 2 different places with the exact same thing.
They were trying to compete with Snapchat, and they decimated Snapchat. That was the whole purpose of Instagram. Yep. All right. So now, what should you say? This is the most important. What should you say on social media? If you're not going to be needle nose Ned, what should you say? Here's some ideas for you. You want to give people tips, but only tips that make you look like an authority figure on the area of your expertise. Before and after photos. Because you're not saying come do business with me, you're saying I'm so excited, we just did this job and I feel like we knocked it out of the park. Check out how this looks before and after. Right? Testimonials is another one. I'm so excited. You get that idea? I'm so excited. Why? Because it's a party. It's all about the emotions. Everyone goes to get an endorphin hit. That's why they're on social media. Like, well, we don't exercise anymore and we're not outside anymore, so how do we feel good?
When you say give testimonials, you're posting a testimonial about somebody else, or?
Your customers gave of you would be my recommendation. Like, we just received this testimonial from Bob.
Okay.
And you can feature Bob a little bit as a customer and share their testimonial. But we'll get to that other one in just a second. You can answer common questions. Now, this one ties back in to your website because, and we only have are we out of time? Yeah. Okay, we got 2 minutes. All right, so you come over here and you do a blog article, right? And on your blog, this is how you do SEO in the book. You do a blog article and you answer that question. And then, that same blog article, you came over and you said on social media, have you ever wondered when it's time to get your windows replaced? Have you ever wondered if your water is poisoning you? Have you ever wondered if your computer is at risk? Have you ever wondered what makes a good counselor? The answer that's on your blog, you link from your social media and say, we just wrote the answer on our social media, on our blog. You should go check it out. Now, be aware, social media will punish you for linking off social media, but it's okay to do that occasionally and toot your own horn too. I wouldn't do that all the time, but you can do that. This works really well if you do this blog once a week. You put it on social and your Google business profile, and now you just tied everything together in a nice, neat bow. All right. So, answering common questions, featuring other businesses. David, that one goes right back to your question a moment ago. If you have a referral partner, you're like, hey, I want to feature this guy, or somebody did an amazing job for you and you're just their customer, and you really want to shout it out, it's a party. and then specials and promotions. Those would be some areas that you can spend time talking, but I wouldn't worry about focusing too much on what, just be consistent. But the big one is, we built this brand profile. You didn't know you were building a brand profile, but you did that last week and some today. So the last step in your brand profile is understanding your brand voice. Are you funny? Are you serious? Are you ridiculous? Are you an authority? Are you stiff? Are you relaxed? Who are you as a brand? Write that down. That's the last step in your brand profile. And then anytime you're on social media, be consistent with, somewhat consistent with that voice. And that is the right way to do social media.
Wait, can we go over the last 3 things?
Yeah.
Are we able to do time?
Yeah, I don't care. I can go over. As long as we don't get kicked out by Nikki.
No, I had the room till 12:30, so that, I don't know if there's anybody else in here.
Oh man. Sorry for rushing them through. We had an extra half an hour, didn't know it.
Sort of.
All right. Sort of. We just have to be out by 12:30. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so what was your questions? Which ones do you want to go
I
over?
think it was, did you go over what should you not post types? Well, you kind of went through the
Oh.
types of posts with what you should say. but-
What you should say. What you should not post
Yeah.
is if you saw that same post on another business, your competitor posted it, and you start laughing because you're like, I can't believe those morons would say that.
Mm-hmm.
That's your filter. Don't be needle nose Ned is one.
Okay.
So don't be tooting your own horn to that extent. And then if one of your competitors posted it, and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they just posted that, that's terrible, don't post that.
Okay.
But if you think about it, you're like, man, if I saw that on my competitor's page, I'd be jealous, then you know it's a good post.
Okay.
And if you would say at a party, probably, right?
Right, exactly. Very much so. Yeah, so yes, that's the best way to put it. If you wouldn't say it at a party, you're not gonna post it there, yeah.
This is kind of random, but on track. How do you make reels on Facebook? Like, is there a certain app or something you use to make them? How do you do that?
Yes, there is certain apps you can use. Or if you have the app on your phone, the Facebook app on your phone, you can literally go right in there and you can pick, so you can either record a live video, and when you're done recording a live video, you can convert it to a reel. That's one option. The other is you can literally record something on your phone, you talking to your phone, and then go into Facebook, and when you're picking, you can pick that you want to do a video, it will pull up the videos that you've recorded. You can select one, and then it will automatically convert it to a reel for you. And you can edit right there, you can add the text overlay, you can add the music to it, whatever you want to do.
Will it let you do like multiple photos in a roll? And like in a row kind of? Reel?
Yeah, you can also add multiple media elements to a reel
So
inside
any
the app.
kind of reel creation I can do through Facebook.
No.
Oh.
But you can do enough to get you going and do a
Okay.
good job.
Okay.
But if for example you wanted to take a long form video, so I have my podcast. If I wanted to take my long form video from my podcast, upload that to Facebook and turn it into a reel, it wouldn't be the best place for that. There's other services online where you can go and it will use AI to trim it down and build reels for you, reel-sized videos for you, and that's a much better place to do that than on Facebook.
Can you also use like your, what is it, Movie Maker or something like that on an iPhone to cut out a segment
100%.
and then save that as a video and then upload that?
You got it.
Okay.
Yep, you can absolutely use that as a video editor on your phone, definitely. Yep. All right, what was your next question?
No, I think you actually got it, and I may have just missed it, so.
Well, let's go over it again. If you got questions, we got a few more minutes. Any questions at all?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think I understand what those last few were, so thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So the big secret is, and I touched on it very briefly, social media, your website, and the rest of the web all come together and weave together to build your online social presence. And your online social presence affects how you show up in the search engines and whether or not customers will do business with you. So you really don't want to ignore any one of those three, or else you're going to be cutting off the potential of the benefit from your business. That's what. So they all play together. There you go.
Thank you.
That was
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thank you.
All right. Did you guys have any questions on Zoom? You guys all good? I'm gonna take the camera off. You guys all good on Zoom? Okay, any questions? Ready to put it to action? Yeah, okay. So part 3 is on May 6th. Yes, same time, same location. So we'll just repeat and then you guys should get notifications. So mark your calendars, make sure that's blocked off for May 6th. 10 to 12, same time, same location, and I'll send everything out. And then we'll send out, there'll be a new workbook as well, so we'll send that out beforehand.
And
so
you
guys have
may
that.
want to have a device that can access an AI.
Okay, say that again.
You may want to bring a device that can access AI so you can play with it during the
Okay,
presentation.
so for everybody,
Yeah, if you have an app on your phone like ChatGPT or whatever, Claude, whatever, that's great. If you need a laptop and want to do that, that's great too.
okay, so have a second device that you guys can chat with AI for the next one, if that makes sense. So you can still see everything on Zoom and then play on AI. Okay, all right, beautiful places.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Jason. This has been an incredibly valuable time spent. Thank you so much. So grateful. Yay. See you next month.
Okay, bye.
See ya.
Bye.
And I have to match you.